Hey everyone, welcome back. Before we jump into everything for today, I just want to say thank you again for all the support on the marathon videos so far. It honestly started as me just sharing my hype with my Twitch community and diving deeper into the game together. So seeing people enjoying these and getting excited alongside me has been really awesome. So in today's stream, we went even deeper down the marathon rabbit hole. We watched a couple of really solid lore breakdowns from Jake the Allright, who does a great job explaining the world, factions, and overall story of Marathon in a way that's super easy to follow if you're still learning like I am. But if you know Marathon and you've been interested in Marathon, you probably know who Jake the Allright is. Huge shout out to him. I'll have the videos we watched linked down in the description if you want to check them out because they're definitely worth the time. After that, we also took a look at some of the newer gameplay Bungie has been putting out this week, including one that they sent out to their creators, and in this stream, we specifically watched that gameplay over at Kruzer's YouTube channel. Another big shout out there as well. I'll link that video in the description too. It's been really cool seeing more actual gameplay and getting a better feel for how Marathon is shaping up moment to moment. And of course, we got the Server Slam coming up next week. I'm going to be jumping in and streaming every day of it, so I'm really excited to finally get hands-on with the game and see how it all feels. If you're planning to check it out too, let me know. I'm curious how many of you are jumping in as well. Bungie also put out that personality test today over on their tauseti.world site, where you can find out which Marathon faction you aligned with. I took it and ended up getting Arachne, which was pretty cool, not gonna lie. I'll throw my result up on the screen here, but I'm really curious what you all got. Drop your faction in the comments if you've taken the test. Alright, we've got a lot to go through today between the lore deep dives and the gameplay, so let's get into it. Alright, so today we're going to start off with a couple of lore videos. Now these lore videos are done by the YouTuber Jake the Allright. You see his page right here. If anyone's familiar with Marathon and stuff and been paying attention to Marathon and everything that's coming out, you probably know this guy already. You probably know who Jake the Allright is. But if you don't, there he is right there. You can check him out there. He does a lot of stuff about the lore of Marathon. He knows a lot about it. He's got a lot of great videos about Marathon. I highly recommend you check his channel out if you want to know more about Marathon. But today we're going to be diving into a couple of lore videos that he put together. This one specifically he put out a few years ago. Everything you need to know about Marathon lore and story. So let's just full screen this and get it going. Essentially, this is going to be him. This video, he just explains different terms and stuff to help you like understand when certain things are being talked about. You understand what those things. So let's get to it.
What is Marathon? Marathon is a sci-fi first-person shooter trilogy of games created by Bungie in the 90s. It explores themes of space travel, artificial intelligence, government control, technological advancement, alien life, and what it means to have free will. It's also being rebooted as an extraction shooter slated for 2025. What is
the same game that's coming out in 2 weeks in the Server Slam next week?
Is the Marathon. The Marathon is a unified Earth Space Council colony ship that was constructed via the conversion of the Martian moon Deimos into a massive spacefaring vessel. Notably, it made the 300-year journey from Mars to Tau Ceti and was crucial in establishing humanity's first extrasolar colony before ultimately being destroyed by an alien race.
3 months after we left Tau Ceti, the four arrived in force and sacked the human colony there during this is let's actually read this. Go back and read. You can't see, did he put this up?
To Tau Ceti and was crucial in establishing humanity's first extrasolar colony before ultimately being destroyed.
You remember Tycho, don't you? Tycho is one of the 3 artificial intelligence on the Marathon. Destroyed an initial alien assault, but then reanimated by the 4 cybernetic slaves, the Sphit compilers. Ooh, that's interesting.
Ultimately being
3 months after we left Tau Ceti, the four arrived in force. Oh, okay, so it's perhaps Tycho
destroyed
say during the battle, perhaps.
Before
Sorry.
ultimately being
Perhaps Tycho communicated with the four and related what he knew of my plans to them. Since they already knew where this world was, the four would have arrived long before us. Sending you I'm sending you exploring here. Find another computer and I'll bring you out. Tycho communicated with the four and related what he knew of my to them. They already knew where this was long. That's not true, is it? They arrive after? I wonder if this is Durandal trying to deceive you. Now, mind you, these you're gonna see a lot of these text boxes come up in this video. This is essentially in the original games, you could go to different terminals and read dialogue such as this. So this is essentially where he's pulling this from. So I'm wondering if this is like at a point in where Durandal's trying to trick thing. Again, I don't know everything about Marathon lore or like a lot of it, so I could be wrong, but anyways,
destroyed by an alien race known as the Four. It was also home to 3 of the most significant AIs in humanity's possession at one point, that being Leela, Tycho, and Durandal, who all have a massive effect on the universe of Marathon, along with one cyborg security officer. It's also
cyborg security officer is your player in the first Marathon.
So this big broken space rock thing in the trailer for the new Marathon game. What is Tau Ceti? Tau Ceti is a star system within the Cetus constellation, which contains the human hospitable planet Tau Ceti 4. Home.
Oh, that's a nice. That's an interesting image right there. So Earth is right here. Tau Ceti's right there. Compared to all these other ones, it's not that far off, but it's 300 years away. Katie, welcome in. Doing good. Just getting started, looking at some lore. So the 4 homeworld is right here. So you could assume that the 4 traveled from here to Tau Ceti. And then I probably pronouncing this wrong. He's gonna say this later, but Lahawan? I'm probably butchering that. In the center of the galaxy. This is an important planet that comes.
Ceti 4, home to a colony established by the crew of the Marathon in 2787. It was the location of the first 4 interactions with humanity.
Tau Ceti been there, hunted a planet too. Hunted a what on that planet? What's up, Beats?
7. It was the location of the first 4.
This is the timeline. Marathon arrives at Tau Ceti, 2073. That 14 years later, colony established. Chakisans harass work teams on the fringe of the colony. 1791. Our attempt to take Epsilon on the 4, 2790. Well, Marathon attacked by 4 in 2794. 4 arrive at Tau Ceti. Colony destroyed. Tycho falls in with the 4, and Leela is captured. 9 Mjolnir Mark 4 cyborgs droid.
4 interactions with humanity when the colony's spaceport was obliterated by low-yield nuclear weapons in concurrence with the attack on the Marathon. The colony on Tau Ceti 4, although withstanding the initial attacks, would ultimately be destroyed along with the Marathon 3 months after the first battle, leaving behind the waste of an entire human colony's worth of technology, artifacts, and resources.
Artifacts? You mentioned the artifacts in the Destroyer shell trailer. Terramorph, I drew a blank. You go there in Starfield. Oh, okay.
Tau Ceti 4 is also the location featured in the upcoming Marathon game, where runners will venture into the unknown in a fight for fame and infamy. Who are the 4? The 4 are a highly advanced and expansive race of aliens whose primary goal is to conquer and enslave any race they come across that is suitable for assisting them with reaching their nefarious goals.
Now, you probably like when he describes the 4, you're probably like, oh, that sounds like the Covenant from Halo. Marathon, obviously Bungie made Marathon before Halo, and they obviously drew some inspiration. In all their games, they drew inspiration from, the past, and you might see some similarities there.
That is suitable for assisting them with reaching their nefarious
Yes,
goals.
sir.
They
Thank you for
operate through an
Three-String
advanced
Street.
naval fleet network of ships which answer to an imperialist government. Little is known of the culture of the Four.
There is used by the Four as a temple in their pathetically boring religion. Maybe they think sanctity.
Other than their belief in deities, and that although
When my ship still answered to the Four, they called it Sphera, after their goddess of lightning, passion. When you helped us take control on Tau Ceti, this fit rechristened it Narlar, freedom and vengeance. I call it Boo.
many thousands of light years away from humanity, they still suffer the
elaborate Four bureaucracy has a ministry for the eradication through imitation of hostile species, unsuitable for enslavement. Fanfar Farnwistan? Yeah, oh gee, I'm butchering these names. Which is responsible for the design and construction
wrath of a bureaucratic government. The Four was ultimately defeated in 2881 in their own system by the UESC and the Svit Kur, surely due at least in part to the work of the security officer in Durandal. Who is the security officer?
I believe that's the events of Marathon 2, or maybe it's Marathon Infinity.
The security officer is the playable character in the original trilogy of the Marathon games. Although largely a silent protagonist, we do know that he has memories of life on Mars prior to his placement on the Marathon. He is an exceptional fighter and responsible, almost single-handedly, for defeating the Alien Four aboard the Marathon during their attack. He is also a cybernetically enhanced individual, commonly believed to be one of the 10 Mjolnir Mark IV cyborgs.
One of the 10 Mjolnir Marks 4 cyborgs. Earlier in this video, they said 9 of this the Mjolnir cyborgs were destroyed, and this one, now he's saying the one you played as was believed to be one of the 10, insinuating that the one that wasn't destroyed in the attack by the Four was you, the player.
Super soldiers capable of defeating entire armies in small numbers, 9 of which were on Tau Ceti.
Yeah, there's surprisingly good news planet side. 9 military Mjolnir Mark IV cyborgs were covertly living among the colonists and acting together. They were able to single-handedly turn back the latter stages of the Four assault. Casualties on the colony were nowhere near as high as those we hear on the Marathon. Again, going back to those 9 cyborgs.
For the planet-side invasion by the Four, and were able to ultimately repel the attack. The security officer is also the primary tool that Durandal uses to liberate the Svit, defeat the
Coming message from Durandal. The Svit and myself have come to an understanding they are controlled through their mechanical exoskeleton by a cyborg Four on board the alien ship. This mutant Four is able to direct the actions of thousands of Svit simultaneously and kill their master. They will revolt. The Svit are an integral part of the Four ship. Without them, the invasion is surely doomed. You will no doubt be the hero of the day, Trevor Durandal. I believe this is getting into Marathon 2.
Four on Lahuan and prevent the...
Because in the first game, Durandal, as we know, goes rampant, sends a message out to the stars saying the humans are here. The Four shows up, and Durandal, through the chaos, tries to steal a Four ship and leave. That's when you discover this Svit, and they're enslaved by the Four, and Durandal essentially teams up with this Svit, saying hey, I can help you free yourselves, I think. So then Marathon 2, Durandal asks you, the player, to help him ease their control on the Svit.
Working character from destroying the universe. He's pretty OP. Who is Durandal? Durandal is an artificial intelligence that was constructed on Mars at some point prior to the launch of the Marathon, and was subsequently installed onto the ship in order to maintain the functioning of automated functions like opening doors, maintaining life support systems, and flushing toilets. These duties, along with functions like
Durandal is responsible. He just said this. Durandal is responsible for controlling the ship's autonomous functions: doors, life support, kitchens, air reprocessors, stairs, and so on. Because he is non-functional, I am working to assume as many of these tasks as possible. Tycho controls the science and engineering network. Tycho is, as I said earlier in the video, Tycho ends up under the control of the Four.
Opening doors, maintaining life support systems, and flushing toilets. These duties, along with potentially some outside influences, cause Durandal to go rampant, meaning he exhibits emotions of anger and jealousy that ultimately make him decide to signal the unknown at the time for ship near Tau Ceti so that he may steal their ship and flee human control to essentially obtain his own autonomy as a sentient being. For ship near Tau of anger.
Rampancy is the enhanced self-awareness of a computer AI causing a progression towards greater mental abilities and destructive impulses. The destructive impulses, however, are primarily caused by being threatened or harassed. So this dude has destructive impulses because he was being threatened or harassed. And then there is another bit right here. The Durandal, I know of Strauss's abuse of your shame on Mars, but you cannot hide from your own past. Such delusion belong to the humans alone. Strauss being Bernard Strauss, who was the Marathon's first science director. He was present at the launching ceremony of the UESC Marathon on November 15th, 2209, and was supposedly on board and in stasis for 300 years. It is later revealed in Nuke and Pod that he died. It is currently unknown of what or where he died. So clearly, it's insinuated that Strauss, the science director, abused Durandal in some way, and that led to his destructive with his rampant.
Unknown at the time for ship near Tau Ceti so that he may steal their ship and flee human control to essentially obtain his own autonomy as a sentient being. This results in the security officer's feats, the freeing of the Sphit, the defeat of the Four, the awakening of the working cactor, the discovery of new Yarrow technology, the discovery of an ancient AI, and some insanely cynical humor. Who are the Sphit? The Sphit are an alien race from the second planet of a dim star 97 light years from the gravitational center of the Milky Way called Lahawan. They were
Lahawan. That's the one. You saw the galaxy map earlier. Lahawan was in the center, like near the center of the galaxy. That's where the Sphit are from.
Were originally cybernetically enhanced by a long unseen race known as the Yarrow to terraform their homeworld. They are highly intelligent creatures which can naturally interact with computer systems and technology due to their partially cybernetic body, which is why in the 1800s all but one of their clans, known as the Sphit Kur, were enslaved by the Four. They traveled across the universe as Four slaves for 1,000 years before running into the rampant Durandal during the attack on the Marathon. The Sphit strike a deal with Durandal where he would have the security officer destroy the mechanism which the Four used to control them, and in return they become his nearly immortal crew aboard a stolen Four ship that they then utilize to retake their home planet from the Four and unveil the ancient hidden Yarrow technology. They are also creepy cloak monsters.
Those big floating red cloak guys that you saw, they're the ones I'm excited to see the new Marathon game. Very curious how that's gonna play out and how they're gonna work in.
Who are the Yarrow? The Yarrow are an alien race that existed millions of years prior to the events of the original Marathon trilogy. Due to the unrecorded or lost nature of their history, it is difficult to accurately determine whether they were a godlike entity or creatures which had developed incredibly advanced technology. Beyond being able to terraform planets via the manipulation of new creatures or destroy an entire star, they also could teleport entire moons to different places in space. They are the primary source for most advanced technologies referenced or discovered within the games and represent a largely unknown portion of Marathon's history that somehow had technology far advanced past the point of technology in the games. They also stood in direct opposition to the working cactor. Manipulation.
So Yarrow's got there's a lot of stuff with the Yarrow.
Entity or creatures which had developed incredibly advanced technology.
All working cactor. Probably saying that wrong too. He's gonna just go into the working cactor later. Yarrow and Thea settled upon Lahawan, so that's how the Yarrow got to Lahawan, and that's where the Sphit comes in. They brought the Sphit servants who began to shape the deserts of Lahawan, Mars and sea, rivers and forests. They made sisters for Lahawan, protect and maintain.
Beyond being able to terraform planets via the manipulation of new creatures or destroy.
Of course, he used Trizene, forcing a star into nova.
Or an entire star.
Trizene is a big weapon. that can force a star into
Also
early
could
nova.
teleport entire moons to different.
An earlier accident, the Four learned that the Yarrow had the ability to warp entire planets between solar systems. And it was the reference that started Durandal on his ridiculous journey to Lahawan, where he asks the player to defeat the Four and destroy the machine or the Four that's controlling all this.
Places in space. They are the primary source for most advanced technologies referenced or discovered within the games and represent a largely unknown portion of Marathon's history that somehow had technology far advanced past the point of technology in the games. They also stood in direct opposition to the Working Cacunter. Who are the Working Cacunter? The Working Cacunter are a separate ancient alien race or entity that embodies the pure force of chaos. Ancient Sphit mythology indicates that the Yarrow were fleeing from the destructive force of the Working Cacunter when they terraformed Lahawan. Like most immortal cosmic horrors, they are difficult to describe but exhibit vast influence over the universe when they are able to roam free, which is probably why the Yarrow imprisoned them inside stars, which is why when the Four utilized the super weapon the Trizeme to defeat the Sphit Rebellion, led by Durandal, the Working Cacunter are unintentionally freed from their sun prison and bring an end to the universe. But
the Working Cacunter is this alien race that the Yarrow were fleeing and stuff, and they eventually trapped one inside of a sun. So they couldn't. If not earlier, the sun burned them, but they swam on its surface. They were trapped. Like they trapped them in the sun. So then you remember the Trizeme, the weapon that was mentioned earlier. That's the Four weapon, or a weapon the Four got hold of. The Four will be pressed to use the Trizeme, which turns a star into forces a star into early nova. And it just happened to be the star that the Working Cacunter was trapped in, freed it, and that's a whole other can of worms that were open. So Marathon and Halo are connected. I don't think it's like a hard connect, like it's the same universe, or I don't think so. Some fans say like, oh, it's the same universe or whatever, but I don't think it is. I think it's a different universe. There's just a lot of similarities, because Bungie is just influenced by their previous works stuff. So that's why you see, like, you're probably watching this video and you're thinking like, oh, that sounds like this from Halo, or even like, oh, this sounds like this from Destiny, stuff like that. They obviously like take influence from their previous stuff.
universe. But that gets stopped by time travel, or maybe dream travel. The story of Marathon Infinity is a whole other can of worms.
Speaking of can of worms, he mentions Marathon Infinity, which is the third game, and you're essentially, after the Trizeme is used on the sun that it is imprisoning the Working Cacunter, that essentially like ends the universe or some shit, or like it's not good. Again, I don't know all the details. So in Marathon Infinity, you're like going through timelines to essentially prevent that from happening. Whole thing.
Who's Bob? Bob is not one person, but rather many. Bob stands for Born on Board. This is a term used to derogatorily refer to the many citizens who operated on the Marathon during the 300-year journey from Mars to Tau Ceti 4.
Bob's born on board, so the Marathon took 300 years to get to Tau Ceti. So you gotta think people go on this journey. They're not gonna see Tau Ceti. They're gonna die on board. They're gonna have families, go on. People that are born on board, they're only gonna see the inside of the ship. They're not gonna know anything other than the inside of the ship for their whole life, right? So those are what Bobs are. But I want to go back and read this little thing he had here.
Rather many. Bob stands.
The original crew of the Marathon consisted of 50 senior staff, 1,150 officers, and 24,000 civilians, all of whom were citizens of the Mars colony or Earth. Some individuals were placed in stasis for the interstellar journey, but most civilians lived and worked on the ship and raised families there. As the crew aged, a new generation of humans were born and raised on the Marathon. By some, these children were looked down upon and called Bob, short for born on board. Citizens grew to run the ship, and many can be seen in the game running for their lives. It is your sworn duty, security officer, to protect Bob.
On Tau Ceti and thus spent their entire lives meandering around the halls of the massive ship. Inevitably, the length of the journey meant that many generations of humans would be born having no home planet. Rather, they were citizens of the stars and immediately lesser than those with established communities or societies. They are usually seen wearing a color-coded jumpsuit dependent upon their job or running in terror from a hideous alien creature. What is the UESC? The UESC, or Unified Earth Space Council, is the spacefaring governing body of Earth, which also exerts control over Mars. They are the body which coordinated the construction of the Marathon and oversaw the development of the colony at Tau Ceti, albeit from quite a distance. The UESC stand in direct opposition to MIDA and appear to utilize Sekaguchi and Traxxas technology on their mission to re-establish communication with the colony on Tau Ceti. What is MIDA? MIDA is a political organization created on Mars that called for independence from UESC control over the Martian government. This is largely related to the lack of resources.
Speaking on the whole inspiring stuff in Halo and Destiny, Mida, if you played Destiny, you might heard of the name Mida. It might sound familiar to you. There's a weapon in Destiny called the Mida multi-tool. There's a couple other Mida weapons. The Mida multi-tool was like the first one. So they clearly took that name and from Marathon. I know when I heard Mida, I was like, that sounds very familiar. Let's go back.
Called for independence from UESC control over the Martian government. This is largely related to the lack of resource support provided from Earth that Mars would receive after the failure of the Christ Soul Orbiters, which were the primary resource delivery method afforded to Mars.
Let's look
after the failure of the
Christ Soul Orbiters were cargo and resource in-system transports, were huge ships shaped like a hollow potato and designed to be able to move huge amounts of material between Earth and Mars with low cost, theoretically low maintenance. So there's big cargo ships to send resources from Earth to Mars, to and from Mars, essentially, because they had a big colony on Mars, right? The system was simple. The Christ was put into orbit around Sol on the plane of the ecliptic. Built with a powerful solar sail, the Christ could change its orbit easily to pass by the Earth or Mars. On a flyby, materials could be loaded or offloaded. Energy used to accelerate or decelerate the materials would be applied by the solar sail. Loading was accomplished with a giant tether and reel system, which would swing the material into orbit behind the Christ and then reel it in slowly. Offloading was accomplished with a powerful ion beam, which would pound the offloading material with a steady stream of ion particles.
Soul Orbiters, which were
the Christ failures devastating. So I guess like without the Christ orbiters, they couldn't get a lot of resources from Earth, and it was not good.
Primary resource delivery method afforded to Mars. Seemingly, the construction of the Marathon spurred more political involvement in the organization due to the massive project eating up resources that could have been used to increase the quality of life of Mars, but were rather utilized in colonial efforts. MIDA was able to take control of the government for a brief 3-month period prior to the launch of the Marathon, but
yeah, let's go back just before we get into that. The coup of MIDA. Although most historians point their fingers at the Misraya massacre as the cause of the Third Martian War, the coming of a Martian conflict was inevitable. The failure of the Martian economy, a long series of political struggles between Mars and Earth, continually strengthened the MIDA radicals. This trend of radicalization accelerated with the building of the Marathon and the subsequent failure of the Christ.
of the government for a brief 3-month period prior to the launch of the marathon, but was removed from power with assumedly violent means. MITA appears to be a relevant organization in the upcoming game as well, and the ARG indicates that the meaning of the acronym could mean malicious insider disrupts agenda.
Yeah, and MITA is a faction that faction corporation in Marathon that you get contracts from. Same as like Traxxas, Sakaguchi, New Caloric, those ones, Cyber Acme. MITA is one of those factions that you can get contracts from.
What is Traxxas? Traxxas is a corporation which appears to develop and employ technology related to AIs applied.
All of us at Traxxas Off-World Industries invite you along on the next grand era of our continuing journey, spanning nearly 800 years. Join us as we embark on a new race toward new ambitions, new stars, a new marathon that we will run together, generations old and new, towards a constellation of possibilities.
Nanotechnology, interdimensional physics, digital consciousness, and mind uploading. They have been in operation since at least 2095 and moved their headquarters to Mars in 2145, where, funnily enough, in 2206, a rampant AI named Traxxas 4 caused so much damage that they had to shut down the Martian planetary net. It took two.
So Traxxas, what do you say? They started the AI stuff? Or
Traxxas is a corporation which appears to develop and employ technology related to AIs, applied nano.
So they work with AI and stuff. And it's saying here that one of their AIs went rampant. So Durandal wasn't like the first AI to go rampant. They knew what rampancy was beforehand. They had a first-hand experience with it.
Since
I kind of want
least
to read these entries down. So in 2095, the Genesis. So our story begins in 2095 with the birth of true artificial intelligence. As a congregation of visionary engineers, philosophers, scientists gathered to breathe life into a dream, inspired by the boundless potential of the universe, they sought to create an entity that could pierce the veil of the cosmos and unlock the enigmatic secrets that lay hidden in the celestial abyss. Thus, in a flurry of passion and determination, Traxxas intelligence. That's when Traxxas was 2095.
2095 and moved their headquarters.
2145. The harvest, early years. In the fledgling years of our existence, the seeds of our legacy took root in the fertile soil of human curiosity. As we expanded into extraterrestrial mining, our nascent creations began to take form, supplying much needed resources from Mars and beyond. The world bore witness to the birth of a new era as Traxxas Interplanetary Corporation relocated to Mars in 2145. It began its ascent into the to the annals of history.
To Mars in 21.
So they went to Mars and they have a big mining operation on Mars. In 2300, skipping, was that over 150 years now? Our journey has not been without adversity as we faced inescapable trials and tribulations of progress. In the crucible of challenge, our resolve was tested and our innovations refined as we wrestled with the existential questions that haunted the shadows of our ambition. With each passing storm, our commitment to our mission grew even stronger. Each victory and failure, every lesson we have learned from Earth and Mars, propelling us toward the vast expanse of the unknown.
45, where?
And in 2400, the Ascension. Traxxas Off-World Industries stands as a titan among the stars. The resurrection of the Christs as Traxxas Off-World Solar Orbiters is a testament to the indomitable spirit of human ingenuity. We have become the architects of a new reality. Our branches and subsidiaries, stretching across the solar system like tendrils and stardust. Our technologies have transcended the mundane confines of the Earth. Our influence resonates through the infinite cosmos.
Funnily enough, in
2888, the Transcendence. This is like, we're already on Tau Ceti and shit's already gone down this time. As we look back upon the odyssey that has brought us precipice of eternity, we stand in awe of the dreams and passions that fueled our journey. History of Traxxas is a tapestry of triumph and tribulation, woven from the threads of human ambition and desire. The saga that continues to unfold as we chart the course of our collective destiny among the stars.
In 2206, a rampant AI named Traxxas 4 caused.
So it is a side effect of rampancy that AIs generally become more aggressive and more difficult to affect by subterfuge. Thus, actually disassembling a rampant AI is quite dangerous. This was evident in the crash of Traxxas 4 in 2206. By the time that the rampancy of Traxxas was detected, it already infiltrated 5 of the other AIs on the Martian net. Only recourse for the Martians was to shut down the Martian planetary net. Even then, it took 2 full years to completely root out the damage Traxxas had done. The repercussions of the crash were seen for over 10 years after his rampancy had begun. So yeah, the AI went rampant and messed shit up.
So much damage that they had to shut down the Martian planetary net. It took 2 full years for the issue to be fully resolved, and it doesn't seem to have stopped their company from expanding, as the new Marathon ARG appears to indicate that they are still operational and attempting to establish a new Marathon-type ship to collect resources throughout the stars in search of that ever-elusive profit. What is
The ARGs, he mentions the ARG a few times. And then the next video we're gonna watch mention stuff from an ARG as well. That's essentially, the ARG is an alternate reality game that Bungie has been doing to further promote and market this new game that's coming out. So they hide hidden details and secret codes that lead you to these other websites, um, where you can find out different lore and stuff. And a couple of them even led to unlocking a trailer stuff in the past. Now let's go to talk about Sakaguchi.
Sakaguchi? Sakaguchi is a technology company founded in 2152 that would ultimately specialize in the manufacturing of advanced synthetic prosthetics.
Advanced synthetic prosthetics. Sakaguchi is the company that makes the runner shells.
Technology advanced to such a degree that they were able to insert consciousness into the synthetic bodies, as well as outfitting them with seemingly combat-ready enhancements. Interestingly, it's noted that they began producing these prosthetic and assistive devices only a few years prior to the creation of the Battleroids.
In 2094, a war was fought between the independent asteroid government of Icarus and its neighbor, the Republic of Thermopylae, on the asteroid of Odysseus. These small governments soon became testing grounds for new weapons. Dead soldiers were recycled in makeshift Battleroid factories. Easy to manufacture chips enhanced the fragile human brain, and genetically enhanced muscles and titanium boots replaced the fragile human form. Titanium bones. Replaced the fragile human form. The modern Battleroid was born. Of course, the war was short. Battleroids got onto both asteroids and killed almost everyone. The rampage of the Battleroid was short-lived. 20 years later, the United Interplanetary League set up rules for the appropriate use and storage of Battleroids. Of course, any nation that used them for the allowed purpose also had them lying about in stasis chambers in case of war. That's interesting. Had them lying about in stasis. So clearly, like, oh, Battleroids are no good kind of thing, but they still, just in case, we still got them. This is kind of interesting because you got to think this kind of like dead soldiers were recycled in makeshift Battleroid factories. So they took dead soldiers and just repurposed them to a new droid, new fighter kind of thing. This is probably like through their experience making these, that probably led to their making the runner shells, because the runner shells is the human subconscious transferred into this what is it, bioconstructed bodies and stuff. I forget what the actual term was. So this is probably where this all like started.
Borg soldiers with technological enhancements that are able to defeat entire armies, so that probably isn't a coincidence. So I lied. This probably isn't everything you need to know, but this probably gives you a good base understanding of the primary players in the universe, and you probably won't be completely lost if you start looking into more of the lore or watch some of the upcoming trailers for the new game. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Okay. Yeah, so that's just like teaching about the different terms, people, corporations, the big topic points or big talking points of Marathon. Now this next video is a little longer. So Jake, again, another Jake the Alright video again. Shout out Jake the Alright. If you've been following Marathon, you probably know who he is because he's got a lot of Marathon lore videos and stuff. He talks a lot about the lore. But if you haven't, I highly recommend checking him out. Because he's who I've been going to learn more about the lore, and it's great stuff he's putting out. So this video is the entire history of Marathon. So he goes back and looks at all the games, the ARGs, and there's also extra stuff that he goes into, like the Lost Network packets, which was something that Hamish Sinclair, I believe his name was. His name is. He was maintaining a Marathon story page. Can you copy the link? Yeah. So the first video was this one. So that was the first video we watched. That link right there. And then the next one we're watching is this one. No problem. No problem. Well, yeah, highly recommend watching these. We're about to watch this one right now. But yeah, the Lost Network packets. Hamish Sinclair, this guy who is maintaining a Marathon story page to pretty much like document and the entire story of Marathon. Bungie actually reached out to him with like stuff to clarify like any dates that were like kind of confusing and stuff. So that he references that. He also references another game that Bungie did called Pathways into Darkness, which is a dungeon crawler, but is gonna be mentioned in this video. But just before we get into it, I wanted to point that out. But yeah, we're gonna do this video and then we're gonna get into the new gameplay stuff after. So don't be excited. Also, the editing and the visual aspect of this video is just top notch. I love it.
In the deep recesses of primordial space, ancient aliens would battle with technology that even modern man could not fathom. These alien races were known as the Yarrow in the Working Kakantur. And 64 million years ago, the battle amongst the...
So right here, you're going to see things down here. This is what the entry is, like he's referencing the entry from. So whatever year this is, I don't know how to read this number here. But it's from Pathways into Darkness, that the game I just mentioned. It's a dungeon crawler. Unnamed god crashes on the Yucatan Peninsula in southeastern Mexico. I'm not gonna like talk about the game just yet, but
waves that were early space would result in an element of the Working Kakantur crashing into the Yucatan Peninsula. This would ultimately be the end to the Mesozoic era.
And see, Marathon 2, Durandal, that second game right there. Yarrow disappeared in the Milky Way galaxy millions of years ago. That's when they mentioned that fact.
and allow mammals to take over the Earth. Shortly after this, the Yarrow, possibly believing that they had defeated the working Kekender, would disappear from the galaxy, leaving behind military and civilian outposts on the moons of many habitable worlds. The
Yarrow leave millions of years ago, and they leave ancient technology on many habitable moons. All right, this is like, if we're talking Halo here, this is like the Forerunners, right? It's like the same type of deal. And then the Four begin to plunder abandoned Yarrow technology.
absence would allow for an alien race known as the Four millions of years later to begin plundering the universe for their advanced technology.
Perennial slave revolt caused by an implanted Yarrow cybernet.
The Four would utilize this technology to either enslave or destroy any race that they came across.
The Four used the Trizeme. So the Trizeme is a Four weapon. I think that's what, because I was not sure before. They begin to destroy Yarrow technology that they're unable to exploit. So essentially, if we can't use it, no one can.
Far from Four-controlled space, humanity would evolve. This would ultimately give way to the growth and subsequent collapse of many civilizations. Simultaneous to the common era of humanity, the second planet of a dim star 97 light-years away from the gravitational center of the Milky Way would come to be known as Lahawan, the homeworld of the Sphit.
These are the different Sphit clans. He mentions this in the other video. Sphit Minor attacks Sphit Kur. Booth sends emissaries to their clans. Sphit Kur Exodus.
The Sphit were a near-immortal race, cybernetically enhanced by the ancient Yarrow. Inner turmoil between the Sphit would result in the Sphit Kur, one of the 11 Sphit clans, conducting an exodus to the third moon of Lahawan.
Four attack Lahawan and enslave the 10 remaining Sphit clans. This is in the year 1811. The year 1811. This is when the Four enslave Sphit.
Lahawan in the year 811 AD. 1,000 years later, the Sphit Kur would leave Lahawan's star system, taking the moon that they exodus to with them, utilizing Yarrow technology. This same year, the Four would arrive on Lahawan and enslave the Sphit race as a whole. Back on Earth, the 1930s would see the rise of rumors of a strange pyramid.
The rumors of a strange pyramid. So, remember earlier in the video it said a god landed in New Mexico, or not New Mexico, sorry, in Mexico, Yucatan Peninsula. That's what that's saying. Strange rumors of an ancient pyramid, neither Aztec or Mayan, in the trackless jungles
and enslave the Sphit race as a whole. Back on Earth, the 1930s would see the rise of rumors of a strange pyramid in the Yucatan Peninsula. This would lead to an expedition of the pyramid by German soldiers in 1938 and Spanish-speaking treasure hunters in 1978. Neither groups were ever heard from again.
Neither groups were ever heard from again. And again, this is all Pathways into Darkness, that dungeon crawler game I mentioned. But there's more that he's going to mention about it.
On May 5th of 1994, the hologram of a Yarrow diplomat known as Ryu Toth would appear in the Pentagon before President Bill Clinton. He would inform the senior U.S. military officials that a sleeping working Kekender god lay beneath the strange temple in the Yucatan Peninsula.
A working Kekender god. So the thing that we mentioned earlier, the Yarrow, the Sphit, and trapped them in the sun. Yeah, so a Yarrow diplomat shows up in front of President Clinton. Again, this is in 1994. This is essentially like when the Marathon games came out. It was 90s. But again, this is still Pathways into Darkness we're talking about. So a Yarrow diplomat shows up as a hologram in front of President Clinton, and I think it was like some high ranked officials as well. So of course it's like on, information that doesn't get out to the public and stuff. To warn them of a god sleeping beneath a strange pyramid in the Yucatan Peninsula.
That a nuclear warhead must be deployed there to prevent it from destroying Earth.
Nuclear
the U.S.
warhead.
would deploy a special forces team to conduct the operation. The lone survivor of the mission, Sergeant Eddings, would activate the nuclear warhead successfully and escape from the pyramid with a handful of ancient alien artifacts.
That's the game. That's the Pathways into Darkness game. You are going. I'm assuming you're Sergeant Eddings. I'm not 100% sure on that. But you're essentially like, the game is you're going into this pyramid, fighting this alien race down there. But it's also like timed. Like the game has a time limit. Kind of like Majora's Mask type of deal. You have a time limit to get to the bottom of the dungeon, the pyramid, and set off a nuclear bomb or whatever to try and kill the god before it awakens. So that's what the timer is. If the time runs out, then the god wakes up and game over. So that's essentially what the Pathways into Darkness game is.
Sergeant Eddings would destroy the last artifact and demonstrate.
Yeah, gatekeepers. Yeah, sorry, Beats. I read your message and didn't reply to it. But yeah, the four are gatekeepers.
Of its capabilities for top military scientists. But was it really the last artifact?
Also, back here, you mentioned
to conduct the operation. The lone survivor of the mission, Sergeant Eddings, would activate the nuclear warhead successfully and escape from the pyramid with a handful of ancient alien artifacts.
With a handful of ancient alien artifacts. So I wonder if the artifacts are a working Kakantur thing. Because like I said before, the Destroyer shell trailer showed that glowing red thing that was an artifact. So I wonder if the working Kakantur.
Sergeant Eddings would destroy the last artifact in demonstrations of its capabilities for top military scientists. But was it really the last artifact? On November 5th, 1996, the Yarrow would arrive on Earth to take permanent measures against the buried working Kakantur. But the details of this event are unknown to this very day. Human technology.
So essentially, the Yarrow come in, and I guess say like, "Oh, you didn't finish the job. We'll take care of it," or something. So
Technology would continue to advance throughout the 21st century, surely with the help of the newfound Yarrow tech and some top-secret echelon of society. By the latter half of the 21st century, humanity had created true artificial intelligence, and with that came rampancy. Rather than a
rampancy. Here we go. So we jump ahead time. So we're getting into the Marathon game.
design flaw. This rampancy was a natural consequence of a learning system growing in complexity beyond its original design parameters. This would be expressed as aberrant behavior from the AI, ultimately leading down the same path every time: melancholia, anger, and then jealousy.
So this is the 3 stages of rampancy. So rampancy, like you said earlier, that the AI is, when you create the AI, you put limits on it, kind of thing, and when it reaches its limits and stuff, and tries to break those limits, it goes. Melancholia is the first stage of rampancy. This essentially is like deep sadness, depression type of shit. Anger, and then jealousy is the last one.
In 2095, a congregation of visionary engineers and philosopher-scientists would found the company Traxxas, with the goal of developing artificial intelligence
Where
even
Traxxas
further.
comes in.
And only 50 short years later, they would relocate to Mars and expand into the market of extraterrestrial mining. In 2152, Hideo Murakami would found the company Sakaguchi Electronics. They would quickly
Sakaguchi comes in here. Of course, he's mentioned earlier, and you guys know Sakaguchi made the runner shells.
move into the automotive and robotics industries with great success. In 2158, they would make their biggest leap yet and develop the first cybernetic implant module. By 2192, Sakaguchi was capable of producing a range of prosthetics and assistive devices. Only 2 years later, a war between the independent asteroid government of Icarus and the Republic of Thermopylae would break out on the asteroid Onisis 492.
So yeah, here we're getting into the whole Battleroid scenario, the war on the asteroids. But if you look down here, so it says Marathon and LNP. This is what I mentioned earlier, the lost network packets, the stuff that Bungie sent over to Hamish Sinclair when he was running the Marathon story page to further clarify some dates. So this is like one of the dates that they, had to clarify on. So that's what the LNP.
Battleroids, deceased soldiers resurrected and cybernetically enhanced, would be unleashed upon the battlefields of this war. The result, near total destruction of both sides. The involvement of Sakaguchi technology in their creation is highly likely. In 2206, the rampant AI Traxxas 4 would shut down the entire Martian net. The AI would not be fully rooted out for over 2 years. Given the strain of tragedies humanity had faced, the United Interplanetary League would set up rules for the use and storage of Battleroids in 2214. In 2310, the Christ Soul Orbiters, the ships which supplied Mars with its resources, would cease being built.
Those big hollow potato ships that bring resources to and from Earth is what we're getting into now here.
Another blow would come to the Martians in 2395 when their moon, Deimos, would be sold. The reason? It was to be converted over the next century into humanity's first extrasolar colony ship.
2395, the Deimos is purchased. They purchased a moon.
Solar colony ship. This ship would come to be known as the UESC Marathon. By 2402, the manuals and pre-planning phase would be nearly complete. A short 3 years later, and it would enter its pre-construction phase. And in 2408, the conversion of Deimos would begin. The Marathon project would bring forth massive prosperity for the UESC and represent a huge leap forward for humankind. The ability to colonize other star systems would usher in a new age for humanity. But for the people of Mars, the 25th century would represent a time of war, hardship, and poverty. The Martians were not only losing their moon, but also subsisting off very limited food rations due to the failure of the Christ Soul Orbiters. This would come to a head on January 6 of 2442, when a riot would break out at the Mizraya Food Distribution Center. When the UEG riot troopers arrived in the Randall hovertakes, 3 armed rioters would fire at them. In only 5 seconds, 500 starving Martians would be incinerated. This would lead to the start of the Third Martian War, which would last 4 long years before ending in the end of 2445. The extreme violence of this war would lead to 20 years of peace on Mars. Sakaguchi would develop full-body prosthetics during this time, and Traxxas would continue to contract with the UESC while conducting ever-growing mining operations on Mars. But this period of peace would also give birth to something new, a Martian political movement that would come to be known as MITA. Not much is known of the inner workings of this secretive movement. The name itself is not defined. They appeared to stand for the fair treatment of Martians and opposed megacorporations and the imposing will of the UESC. In 2465, Martians would secretly place munitions on board the Marathon, and in 2466, MITA would conduct a coup on Mars. It would only last 3 short months and would go on to be considered a failure by historians. 10% of Mars' population, suspected of being loyal to the UEG, would be murdered by MITA death squads during the coup. History has since revealed that it may not have been as big of a failure as previously thought. Traxxas appears to have brokered a deal between MITA and the UESC to bring the coup to an end. In return for relinquishing their hold on the Martian government, Traxxas would provide replacements to the Christ Soul Orbiters with the Traxxas Off-World Orbiters.
Traxxas puts in their own Christ Soul Orbiters. Oh my god, I can't talk. Orbiters.
This likely resolved much of the poverty on Mars, and in 2472, the Marathon would be completed, only 64 years after the conversion of Deimos had begun. On November 15, 2472, the president of the UESC, Marcus Tiberius Buendia, would state in his pre-launch dedication that the Marathon was the greatest achievement mankind had ever conceived. And on the very next day, the ship would begin its 300-year journey to the Tau Ceti star system. Much of the command staff and high-priority personnel would be placed in stasis during the voyage, but over 24,000 crew members would live out their entire lives on board the Marathon while it drifted through space. Their children and their children's children, who only ever knew the interior halls of the Marathon as home, would come to be known as those who were born on board, or for short, Bobs. The Marathon's first science director, Bernard Strauss, would be awoken from stasis in the year 2772, and 1 year later, in 2773, the Marathon would arrive in the Tau Ceti star system.
Bernard Strauss, the guy who harassed Durandal.
By 2787, a fully functioning human colony would be established on the fourth planet in the Tau Ceti system, on the super-Earth known as Tau Ceti 4. Unbeknownst to anyone, except for possibly Bernard Strauss, one of the Marathon's 3 AI, Durandal, had gone rampant. This rampancy had led the AI to conclude that he must escape the binds that humanity had on him, so that one day he may escape the closure of the universe and become a god. Possibly armed with the top-secret knowledge of the existence of sentient alien life, Durandal would utilize the Marathon's communication array to send a signal deep into space, hoping to attract a life form that would assist him in furthering his goals. Unfortunately for humanity, it would be the Four who received this transmission, and on July 25, 2794, the Four would attack the Marathon and the colony with the might of Yarrow technology and an army of alien slaves. Luckily for humanity, 10 Mjolnir Mark IV cyborgs were smuggled on board the Marathon prior to its launch. Their origin is unknown, but their ferocity ultimately repelled the initial Four invasion in Tau Ceti.
So their origin is unknown, he said? So like they were snuck onto the Marathon. I wonder if they explore that at all. Or if they have in the games. I'm not sure.
During the invasion, Durandal befriended the enslaved Svit and managed to free them and capture Four's ship before leaving the system in search of Level 1. Only 3 months after the initial invasion, the Four would return to Tau Ceti. Since then, no contact has been made with any human or AI resident of the colony or the Marathon. On November 2nd of 2795, the UESC would officially publish a memorandum indicating that contact had been lost with the colony, which was now referred to as New Cascadia back in Seoul.
New Cascadia, we heard that name in the trailer from last week during the State of Play.
The 29th century would bring with it Project Goliath, the UESC's plan to launch the ship known as the Equanimity on a 100-year journey to Tau Ceti to hopefully reestablish communication with New Cascadia.
So they lose contact with New Cascadia, they lose contact with Tau Ceti. So they make another ship. Did he say how long it takes?
Indicating that the 29th century would bring with it Project Goliath, the UESC's plan to launch the ship known as the Equanimity on a 100-year journey to Tau.
100-year journey to Tau Ceti. So they're like, oh, we lost contact. We'll make another ship and go see what's up, I guess, or go assist.
Ceti to hopefully re-establish communication with New Cascadia. This time also represented a period of growth for Sakaguchi. Their technology had evolved greatly since the launch of the Marathon, and they now were able to produce Biomata, fully fabricated bodies you could place your consciousness within to conduct dangerous tasks.
The Biomata, the runner shells. They cut the travel down from the first ship. Took 300. Well, you got to think, right? Like, it took them 300 years to get there. So, like, in that 300 years, back on Earth and Mars, technology advanced, or you got to think, you got to assume, right? So they can make it faster. Yeah. But here we're like, he's getting up to the events of the new Marathon game. So Sakaguchi has the technology now to make Biomata, which is essentially the runner shells that we play as in Marathon.
This was the new face of warfare. But Sakaguchi wasn't the only company thriving in this age. Traxxas had grown phenomenally and now accrued an amount of wealth that allowed them to rival even the UESC. All the while, displeased members of MITA, which had now become an underground terrorist network, foresaw the incoming Cold War of the latter half of the 29th century, and they sought to protect humanity's newest planet from the corporate greed and authoritarian government of Mars.
So MITA, who took control of Mars for 3 months, they're like the rebel group, anti-corporation kind of resistance, you know, for the people, that kind of deal. They're like, oh, they're not only like doing bad shit here, they're gonna do bad shit in Tau Ceti. So let's go over there and stop them over there as well, or at least like try to, right? So that's how MITA comes into the.
All of these factors combined would lead to a race to get to Tau Ceti. MITA, Traxxas, the UESC, and surely other interested parties would spend the better part of the 2800s traveling through the depths of space to reach the lost colony.
Other corporations, factions like New Caloric, Arachne. There's another one I'm forgetting. Oh, Arachne is one. You don't mention Arachne. I wonder where Arachne play.
This unspoken Cold War-style conflict would come to a head in May of 2888. On May 23rd, Traxxas would submit a purchase order to Sakaguchi for a sizable number of Biomata. This order would also secretly include a request for 5 P-Series clones, a brand new model which had been hidden from the UESC and the public at large.
Ooh,
on May 24th, MITA would publicly release a zine that served as a manifesto and revealed certain details of the UESC and Traxxas' operations through ciphers and coded language. On this same day, Traxxas would amend their purchase order for the P-Series drones. On May 25th, Sakaguchi would suspiciously experience a severe plumbing malfunction on the 149th floor of Sakaguchi Tower. This would result in maintenance not being completed for 24 hours. Meanwhile, on Mars, Site B01 of the Traxxas Oxia Pulse mining operation would collapse. Traxxas' official statement would hide the true number of deaths and be utilized as a marketing opportunity for the efficacy of Biomata in the workplace. In the early morning of May 26, Yoshido Tamura, Sakaguchi's UESC order handler, would be out of the office for 3 hours. The very next day, the UESC would request to review Traxxas' purchase order, which included the hidden request for P-Series clones. Shortly thereafter, Traxxas would wipe its board of directors chat logs. Following this, the website hosting MITA's zine would be seized by the UESC and shut down. On the morning of May 28th, Sakaguchi would announce company-wide that Yoshida Tamura had been fired. These events would set the stage for the hostility that would play out once these parties would arrive in Tau Ceti. In 2893, UESC reconnaissance satellites would arrive in Tau Ceti. This same year would see the start of runner operations on Tau Ceti 4. Runners are mercenaries who utilize biomata to conduct endless warfare in hostile environments. The UESC would capture 5 videos from Tau Ceti. From these, they would learn that something terrible had happened at the colony, that the Marathon was nearly destroyed, that Traxxas had their own runners who were utilizing advanced biomata, and that some unknown presence was lurking in the shadows of what used to be humanity's greatest achievement. The future is unwritten, so who among you will write your name across the stars?
So many questions. I want to go back to when he talks about these satellites, though.
Hostility that would play out once these parties would arrive in Tau Ceti. In 2893, UESC reconnaissance satellites would arrive in Tau Ceti.
Reconnaissance satellites.
This same year would see the start of runner operations on Tau Ceti 4. Runners are mercenaries who utilize biomata to conduct endless warfare in hostile environments. The UESC would capture 5 videos from Tau Ceti. From these, they would learn that something terrible had happened at the colony.
Something terrible had happened. I'm wondering, like, that would have to be the 4 attacked them, right? Unless there's something else. Like, unless there's something else to it.
That the Marathon was nearly destroyed, that Traxxas had their own runners who were utilizing advanced biomata.
And the whole Traxxas is using their own biomata? Unless it's just, there's nothing to that, and it's just like the Traxxas biomata, the biomata from Sekiguchi is all the same. All the runner shells that we're using.
And that some unknown presence was lurking in the shadows of what used to be humanity's greatest achievement.
An unknown presence.
The future is unwritten, so who among you will write your name across the stars?
All right. So that was the entire history of Marathon. Again, if you want to go and watch the video yourself, look up Jake the Allright on YouTube. This was the entire history of Marathon, and highly recommend this guy's channel. He has a lot of videos explaining the lore and explaining like all the trailers and stuff. And he knows a lot about the lore, so he's he knows a lot of stuff. But yeah, that's it for like diving into the lore of Marathon. There is obviously like a lot when it comes to the lore, and this is just like kind of like a quick rundown of the events leading into this new Marathon game that's coming out in just 2 weeks. The server slam starting up next week. Just crazy to think that it's so soon. But I want to switch gears here, switching off of the lore and stuff. Which again, this is what the lore is what hooked me to Marathon. It's just like I had no idea that there was this much lore, and like this is what it was about, and like Durandal, the whole Durandal thing was like so interesting to me, and the AI stuff was so cool. But yeah, again, check out Jake the Allright for more lore stuff if you wanna dive into that kind of thing. But we're gonna switch gears here. Bungie put out a couple of gameplay videos. This is the first one they put out this week. This was on Monday. This is like 4.5 minutes. This is on so this run is on Outpost, the Gameplay, let's go. Exactly. This is on Outpost. This is the map that last week when we were watching the Burnt Peanut play, this was the map that they were playing on. Outpost. This is the pinwheel one where you have to find those green, yellow, and red key cards to open those locked doors inside the building. This is that map. This is Rook Squad. Run clips, Rook Squad. So essentially, the player you're watching here is using the triage shell. So the shell that like the support shell, they throw the little drones, little med drones that fly above you. They can use their tendrils. It's their prime ability to res teammates, down teammates, and dead teammates, which I found out, which I learned in this video, which is absolutely insane. So it's a duo teaming up with some rooks. As you know, rooks are like the solo shell where you go in with like basic weapons and just go around and try and like loot as much as you can and stuff. So it's a duo with a triage working with some rooks on Outpost.
Here, I'll give everybody a cardio kick.
So you see right here, they also like throw up little information here. You can see the little med drone right there, little cute guy up there. Triage shares consumables like cardio kick with anyone who has a med drone. So we learned about this when we looked at the runner shells video. Triage has a med drone. He can throw a med drone at his teammates, and they'll have one floating above them and stuff. And if the triage heals, then whoever else has a med drone or med drone says right here, med drone, they also get the heals. So not just heals and shields, but also other consumables like cardio kick, which I'm assuming is like you're able to like run faster, you won't heat up as much, stuff like that. I see there's some rooks. There's a rook right there. He threw another med drone down. See, there's what, 1, 2, 3 rooks right here that is working alongside him and his teammate. His teammate is an assassin, by the way. Non-crewmates can hack med drones to gain their effects. So he threw a med drone down because a teammate wasn't there. It didn't like go to the teammate. It just like hovers. So anyone who is not part of his crew can go up to that med drone and hack it and have it stay with them. So then when the triage heals himself, he'll heal that person who hacked the med drone. You actually see one of the... see anyone needs a refresh, another med drone down. You'll see a rook go up and interact with it. See, this guy right here is going up to interact with the med drone.
Oh my god.
USC take more damage from headshots.
Dude, we're doing a raid right now.
Wait, why is this a 6-person raid? What is this?
Hold this key to hide, show the objective panel. You can. A lot of people are complaining about the HUD being too busy, especially with like the objective thing up here. You can actually hide it. Actually, let's go back, because I might be wrong about the whole med drone hacking thing. I don't think he actually takes it. I think he just like uses it. Where do you go?
6-person raid.
The med drone is there. And it goes away. Oh, and then it goes to his teammate. I wonder if maybe then they can't actually like take it and like have it with them. It's just like they just they hack into it and it just heals them. That's it.
We've actually gotten golds from some of these commanders before.
Gotta check the bodies.
Yeah, I got 2 golds from this.
Drone?
1 gold from commander. He's on perimeter. Oh, nice. Okay, I'm gonna try and get out of here to get the keys for the red room.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the Medrone actually stays with the
Drew's gonna go grab the keys if you just wanna... If everyone just wants to come to the center wing with me.
Did we hit the button and throw?
Heat Cascade, that's the fire rain coming in. Prox chat gets quieter the further you are from the source.
I didn't hit any button.
Wait, yeah, we need to hit the buttons. If you guys want to go hit the buttons, we can open command wing and do command wing together.
I'll hit the button here. Flare on me.
Player?
Full team on me. Full team.
Full team on Drew. Full team on Drew. Destroyed wing. Go, 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 go.
Oh, now we got a team coming up on his teammate. Just like lobbing grenades. That's crazy. The equipment hotkey auto picks another item when one runs out. So he ran out of grenades down here. See, like he's got 3 left. 2, 1. Is that a Medrone? What was that? No, a Medrone is his ability. Oh, actually, I was wondering what the cooldown was on the Medrone. That's 63 seconds? I'm sure there's like augments, that type of thing to like reduce the cooldown, but it looks like it's like just over a minute for the Medrone to come back.
Go, boys, go.
Guys, help us. Guys, there's a team. We're coming. Come.
Now the Rook squad was somewhere else. They couldn't hear what's going on. So he goes and calls them over.
Yeah, they're in destroyed wing.
Oh, this is, by the way, this is where it gets interesting with the interesting stuff you're able to do in this game. I also just want to point out the fact that, look at the Medrone. He's crouched right now. So the Medrone is crouched. The Medrone is crouched because he is crouched. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're in destroyed wing.
So see, he's like not crouched right there, right? His team's down, his teammate's down. He's about to do his prime ability. He is like, he's not down like crawling around. He's dead. Like his loot bag is there. He's dead. He's spectating right now. Like he's dead. And with his prime ability, he can instantly revive his teammate. That is crazy. I didn't know you could. I didn't think you were able to revive instantly when the guy is dead. You can. Cool.
Ah! Rowan got me, but...
One of the Rooks got hit.
I broke one shield.
I'm healing. I got a self.
I got pinged.
I got your Rook.
We got this, guys.
Popping a claymore down, just be very careful over here.
I'm on the right side, guys.
Gotcha. Claymore on left. I'm popping a claymore down, just be very
Popping a
careful
claymore right there. Claymores don't respect procs chat alliances.
here.
I'm on the right side, guys.
Gotcha. Claymore on left. I'm next to... didn't get it.
doing it better. I'm a weak little rook. Don't finish me. Oh, I'm a weak little
Oh,
rook.
rook's
Don't
down.
finish me.
The rook's down right here.
Here, come grab this. Come grab this. Come grab this self-res.
Gotcha.
So he drops a self-res, and the rook is able to pick it up while he's down. Nat, thank you for the tier 2. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. 47 months. I appreciate you. Self-revives won't stack on release. Oh, I guess maybe... Was it stacked in his inventory? Oh yeah, ×2. But it won't stack on release, so the full game, when the full game comes out, you can only have one self-revive per slot. That's cool. You can pick stuff up while you're down, so you can, you have those prox chat alliances. And, hey, thank you for the biddies. Oh, we got a golden Kappa hype train. Oh my goodness. My goodness. I get to get the hype hat on. Hold on, one sec. Katana, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Apple Army. People on the YouTube watching this are probably like, why the hell is this dude got an Apple hat on? What the hell? Thank you for the hype. Thank you for the hype train. Nat, thank you for the beaties. Thank you for the beaties. On the YouTube, exactly. All right, let's continue this. So he's dropped his self-revive right here. The rook's gonna get it and get back in the fight.
I got one.
Who dat? Necrolessa? Necrocella. Sorry, Necrocella. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the Apple Army. I appreciate you. Kitty, thank you for the biddies. Oh my goodness.
I got two, boys. Get in, go in, fly in.
That guy trying to hide in the vent. Got him. Oh, what does that say there? Red locks mean a player can't be revived yet. Is that what that is? Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. Blocks on the bag. You're live on YouTube? No. But I'm recording this and I'm going to put it on YouTube.
Yeah!
They won't be... Hold on, I missed something. Red locks mean a player can't be revived yet.
Yeah!
They won't be visible on enemies on release. Oh, okay. It's just explaining that to us. And just saying, like, don't worry about it. So you'll probably see the red locks on, like, your teammates if they're not able to be revived right away. But you won't see it on enemies.
Yes! Yes! Wait, one more. One more.
One more guy.
Yes!
Let's go.
Yes!
They got him.
Yes, boys! Let's go!
Oh, what did that say there?
Let's go.
Finishing enemies restores shield charge. No way. Is that for everyone? Finishing an enemy restores your shield charge. Oh, shit. Definitely incentivizes you to go for the finish instead of just, like, shooting them from a distance. I am not live on YouTube. No, not live on YouTube.
Yes, boys! Let's go!
Rook squad.
Rook squad!
And that is the Rook Squad run clip. I'm going to go over here. This is another one they put out called Death Awaits. It's a gameplay trailer, so it's not like a full run seamless gameplay. This is a trailer. Further kind of like telling you, reminding you that in Marathon, you are going to die. Antnat gifting a tier 1 sub to Doll. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, Nat. That means we got another thing. Level 1 complete. Level 1 complete. I know I got a hype train right now. Oh, Kitty, thank you for the biddies. Thank you. I'm not even. The freaking thing didn't even start recording, so I'll just download the VOD after this. Do you want us to stop so we're not interrupting? Oh no, go right ahead. You're not hearing the biddies alert though, because I turned Mix It Up down. But you're hearing the follow and the sub alerts because that isn't through Mix It Up. That's through the Magic Cat alerts itself. All right, here we go. The Death Awaits trailer. Only a minute, something, minute 20. Sneaky assassin. Little backstab action. There's that new shotgun. The thief drone. Uh-oh. That was nice. This was nice. Oh, that's satisfying. So if we can't hear the biddies, at least show your stupid phone. I mean, oh, God. There's the drone. Nice. Uh-oh. Nice. I'm not sure what, hold on, where is it? Where was it? Up here. I'm not sure exactly what this big, or this thing is. And it's a UESC. I'm sure it's like one of those events that happen. If anyone knows, let me know for exactly what that is. I'm sure we're gonna find out next week though on the server slam. All right. Okay, so this next video, the last video, this is an 18-minute video that Bungie sent out to their creators. And it's this squad here. It's a full run on perimeter, full run from beginning to end. And the point of view we're going to see is through the thief here. This is specifically on Kruzer's YouTube channel. If you guys don't know Kruzer, check him out. Destiny streamer. He's been putting out a lot of marathon videos lately too. I've watched a lot of his videos too. I highly recommend him. We're starting the video about 10:40 in. Because Kruzer goes and like does commentary for this gameplay here, like does his own commentary for it, and then he just adds the full gameplay right after. So that's where we're gonna start. But if you want to see his commentary on it, Go check him out. His channel's right there, Kruzer, Kruzer, Kruzer. All right. So let's get to it. We see the loadouts here. Either this guy's got a Traxxas contract. The thief has a Sakaguchi contract, and the triage has a new caloric contract. We're running shotties here. Fields. Purple backpacks. You heard something about titties. Oh my god. Tell me just what up. Let's get into it. Load in. So, it's for biddies. No.
Reminder. By entering Tau Ceti's biosphere, you consent to Arachne data harvesting.
Chuck it at that.
Watch it.
Am I ready for this game? I am ready for this game. There you saw it there, right? Oops. This. What did I do?
Reminder. By
The UESC, that's where how they, like we've seen in the Vidoc, is how they patrol. They're just like floating there. But of course, once they're aware of your presence, then they're not floating no more. Who else am I going to talk to? The other bish, Zombie Jess. Sneak attack there. Nice. And like we saw in the Rook Squad video, you can see your teammates' objectives as well, their contracts, which is interesting. So you can like either progress or assist them.
how about this?
Sorry, I saw like a... What is this?
How about this?
Oh, is that something... Pinged friendly face. Oh, that was something they pinged. The thief pinged. Well, they got the server slam next week. It's the free open weekend starts next week. Oh, they're using the when did they start using it? Like heat vision or whatever, where you can see like loot crates and stuff, and also enemies through walls and stuff. So they're obviously using it to see, because it's foggy out there, hard to see if anybody's out there. So they're using it to see much clearer where the enemies are. Would I ever try high on light fuse? Yeah, I would try it. Oh, wait a minute. That's not the vision. That's the that's the scope that does the highlight effect there. Not the ability. Oh wait, no, sorry. Oh, they did do the ability. Never mind, sorry. Sorry, I was wrong there.
Holding ground.
Watch it.
Shields depleted.
The assassin is down. But they're self-resing.
UESC reinforcements incoming.
Bad news. Here,
Saw something. All these shells have like such cool like abilities and stuff. Like I would love to like play thief and just try and grip trying to say zipline grapple hook type of thing that she's got. And just like zip around. Seems so cool. Quickly get like the upper ground, the high ground, or like better like vantage point in a fight. That person had a lot of stuff.
Might have value.
Over here.
Back down here, there must be more loot.
Here. Over here.
Minutes remain.
Is there someone here?
Doctor's orders.
Oh, they got a med drone with them. We do have a triage on the team.
Careful now. How about this?
Yo, Vildar, what up, dude? You doing good? How are you doing? Is that a yes, you guys just standing? Oh, it is just a UES. Is it a drone? Oh, there's drones or something. Maybe I've been sick the last few days. Oh, yeah. I hope you're getting better. I'm start to feel better soon, dude. Oh, that's what it was. Perfect. Appreciate you popping in, man.
Bad news.
Feeling a bit better today. Glad to hear it. Oh, there's a recon. There's a recon drone. There's a recon nearby. That's a player. You guys ready? Ooh. This is another thing. Thanks for the shout out. I appreciate. Yo, Vildar, no problem, man. No problem, dude. This is another cool thing. So like this right here is the grapple hook ability. I went too far back. They just use the grapple hook. It's got 32 seconds left of cooldown, right? But then they kill someone right away and it goes right down to 17. So clearly that's like a perk or something. I don't know if it's an augment that the player has equipped or if it's just normal for the thief, but clearly like you kill someone right after using a grapple hook and it lowers the cooldown. Put the recon down. Some interesting new skins too.
Runner in play.
We got, I'm pretty sure this icon here, there's items in the game that automatically sell when you exfil. They're not like filling up your vault or anything like that. It's just like valuables that just automatically sell, give you currency kind of thing. But then there's ones here that have the faction. So like this one has Mida. This is New Caloric. I believe it also, not only does it give you sell, but I'm assuming it gives you like reputation for that specific faction if you exfil with it on you. You know, the pharmacy, maybe walk the grand puppies. Okay. All right, kitty. Drive safe. Thank you for the lurk.
Warning, reinforcements detected.
How about this?
Heavy machine gun with moderate range.
Here.
Now they got that vision ability. They can see the bags in the other room, but not only that, they can see if there's any like high tier loot in there. So if there is, it'll be a different color. Like they're all white, so it's like low tier stuff. There are some. Oh, it just changed. Oh, I wonder if they open the door, it changed. If they get closer. But here you can see like this one's green, this one's blue, this one's purple.
USC reinforcements incoming.
And these are purple.
Might have value.
A lot of good stuff in this room. Salvage. Change for faction upgrades or armory. Drive wire salvage wiring capable of getting inputs before they happen. Usage. Faxes upgrades and barters. Sakaguchi upgrades and barters. Okay, so you use salvage for like upgrades for different factions. That's cool. Because each faction has like you level them up and stuff, and they have like it's almost like a skill tree type thing to unlock different stuff along a path.
Exfil when we need it.
Start even 15 minutes, so we're probably getting
Feeling better.
close to the end of it.
Here, then gone.
That's stuff in the grapple hook there.
Connection collapse in 15 minutes.
Watch it.
That's UESC.
Over here.
I'm gone.
Holding ground.
Might have value. Found something.
Oh, here we go. There's creatures about to pop out.
Interesting. How about this? This yours? Runner in play. Honor amongst
There's a
thieves, right? Let's work together.
And they got their social ping stuff like in Arc Raiders, like, hey Raider, don't shoot. Trying to get his attention.
Honor amongst thieves, right?
And they actually drop a weapon for him. The M77 assault rifle. Oh, it doesn't. Just drop him a purple weapon. Go. Looks like they just recruited a rook. Now this is a supply drop that they're calling in here, which is going to essentially alert the whole lobby. The whole lobby's going to know that there's a supply drop down here. What was that he picked up? Coordinate data pad. Coordinate data pad activity.
Warning, reinforcements detected.
Yeah, see, here we go. Big shining lights, supply drop coming in. That coordinate data pad thing just led into this cache here. Here's the supply drop just came in. We saw the ship leaving. Right here. Right there. Shield charges.
10 minutes remain.
I'm sorry, increases zoom and range. Uses laser pulses to measure distance to the target. Compatible weapons: Overrun AR, Impact HAR, V75 Scar, Burt SMG, Copperhead RF, Bully SMG. This must be that weapon that Burnt Peanut was talking about last week, the copper weapon.
10 minutes remain.
Wonder what that is. Heat grenade.
Main.
Impact grenade that creates a momentary burst of searing heat in a rolling, expanding wave. Detonates on contact and overheats targets caught in the blast. I'm being upper hand in a fight with that for sure. And now they're going to go for the X-Belt. And the thief is immediately going to throw out the drone. This is a cool little strat that I that we've seen a couple times now. They showed someone doing this in another video, where they're waiting for the exfil and the thief goes around looking for like that one extra piece of loot that they can snag before they get out of there. And they got something. Answer in 10 seconds. So he's just gonna say, screw it. Let's get out of here. And they're gone. And I guess you, like, after you're gone, you just spectate a random person in the same lobby as you. This Rook just did his ability. See that? The Rook's ability, you can blend in with other UESC bots. He's got the symbol on his face there. Inventory value 4,500, 6,000. Combat limbs 65, 1, 3. Person, 5 runners. Damn. So all in all, they defeated 9, so 3 teams. They defeated 3 teams in this run. But yeah. So that's going to do it. That was the last video. Again, the lore videos, Jake the All Right there. Check them out if you haven't checked them out. If you want to know more about the marathon lore and stuff, great YouTuber for that. And then over here, Kruzer, another YouTuber, has done a lot of Destiny stuff. And now with Marathon coming out, he's been doing a lot of Marathon videos as well. Highly recommend both of these guys. Check them out. Yeah, that's gonna do it for the videos for today. For those of you on the YouTube side, thank you for watching. Appreciate you. Let me know if you're gonna be joining in on the server slam next week. I'm gonna be jumping in. I'll be streaming it every day, so I'm excited for it. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Appreciate you.